Hey everyone, this is Howard with Reunite with Passion, your 5-week relationship education and divorce prevention program. Have you noticed lately how trust has just been a bigger issue in relationships? Even the number of single people who are out there versus people who are married has increased. And sociologists will tell you because of lifestyle changes in Western culture, especially in our day and age today, where parents really want their kids to grow up, graduate from high school, get a degree, and find that secure job, right? Well, that has a lot to do with being single versus the traditional family environment that has been created so soon in the past, or perhaps even your parents had children when they were about 17, 18, 19 years old, or maybe even their parents, right? And today people are getting married a lot later. We're really taking the time to find a stable financial position so that we can take care of ourselves. And even women today too are depending less on men and wanting to depend on them more or become more independent in society. So there's a lot to take into consideration there. But the factor with trust, this is the topic for today. Over the past 40 years, because of this big onset of causal or casual relationships, or even just having casual sex, has created a huge problem with developing trust within a relationship. And what researchers have actually found is that the utility of abusing trust is much more higher than actually honoring it. Now, if you think about it, maybe there's some people you know, and maybe there's some people you know even more intimately, who are more likely to abuse someone's trust if they feel that they can get away with it, versus honoring that person's trust. If you're in a relationship or an intimate relationship, and honoring that person's trust. You can even take this into your business relationships too. This is what I kind of identify as integrity, is doing the right thing when nobody else is looking, right? We've seen a lot of role models today in a variety of different industries, whether it's these Fortune 500 CEOs or football players, baseball players, sports athletes, right, who have been caught cheating, taking steroids, embezzling money, doing the wrong thing when nobody else is looking. And these experiences too, we see it all over the news, creates trust issues, even in going to work for certain companies and putting ourselves out there and becoming more vulnerable so that we can experience the life and the love that we ultimately seek. Now, this game of trust isn't necessarily just a rational one. When we think about trusting, it's more of just a feeling. But what does help trust is when we can observe more rational behaviors, when what we say is consistent with what we do, right? And ultimately, trust comes down to you trusting somebody and not knowing whether they're going to follow through with your expectations. Trust, I think, precludes faith. You have to have faith in trusting, because if you don't have that faith, then you're never going to trust. So it almost seems that trust and faith are even one and the same. But there are two, when we engage in relationships, there's two goals that we seek, and one of them is a transactional goal, where we get into a relationship transactionally. We expect sex or favors from our partner. But there are also relational goals as well, which is the need for love and affection, a sense of unity and togetherness, maybe even growth and contribution, right? We get into relationships. If you look at the word relate, relationship is to relate to. We want to relate with people. We want to relate with our partner. And we're supposed to be getting into relationships as a place to go to give, not to get. When you're completely fulfilled in yourself, when you get into a relationship, you don't really expect a whole lot from your partner. They're more somebody that complements your lifestyle and this journey that you're experiencing through life. When you're not fulfilled and you get into a relationship, then we depend on other people to make us happy. And when they don't make us happy, that's going to break trust. And it's going to create trust issues within yourself as well. So what I have written down here there's 3 different concepts that we go through in deciding on whether or not we're going to trust somebody. And number 1 is that the trustor, you, if you're going to trust your partner, is that you believe that your partner is more of the relational, goal-oriented person. And you really believe that they're not somebody who's just transactional that gives to get, but they're relational in the fact that they're here to give. They're here to relate to. They want to relate with you. And if you believe that, that's going to inspire a little bit more trust into the relationship. The second thing is that as a person owns their interest in a relationship or in a marriage and its potential gains. Hold on a second, let me look at that. A person's own interest in marriage and its potential gains. So your own interest, if you believe in yourself when you get into a relationship, if you fully believe that you can trust and that you are unconditional, then what we do is we also project that the other person is going to be trustworthy and unconditional at the same time. For those of you who have kids, you might project onto your kids what you want them to be versus even just accepting them for who they are. Right? Life is just a projection of our own thoughts and experiences until we can become aware of that. So as long as we project something good and accepting of other people and events and everything else too, that's where life continues to grow. And trust is in that relationship. Before I get to the third point, somebody had mentioned one time too that the relationship doesn't exist in me, and the relationship doesn't exist in you, but actually exists in this space between you and I. And that's where the trust lies within there too. So the third concept is to actually weigh the possibility of potential losses and the investment if the other person or partner will eventually commit or not. So we weigh the potential losses. Do we feel, and again, this is something that's not necessarily rational, do we feel that the person is going to stay long term, or do we feel that this person is someone short term? So think about these. Think about your outcome in a relationship. What's going to allow you to trust? Watch this video a few times, go through it, contemplate it. Again, remember the two goals that we seek in a relationship. Are you transactional or are you relational? And then think about the three different concepts that we go through in deciding whether or not we will commit to a relationship, if we can feel that we can trust. Okay? Share your thoughts below. Let me know your experiences. Maybe there's somebody in your family, a close friend of yours, who went through something similar. And maybe you saw a breakthrough. Maybe they had a hard time trusting in the beginning, but in the long term, they really turned themselves around. And in turning themselves around, the relationship turned around as well. Maybe you have stories too of people who tried to trust and it was just continually broken one after another. Why do you think that happened? So please share your thoughts. I look forward to hearing your responses, and I'll see you around the website. Have a good one. Bye-bye.